Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Good stuff.
Ready?
Ready.
Ready. Okay. Boys and girls, I'm back on the podcast grind, this time with a special guest, as always. Today I wanna welcome Nick from OP Poker. Nick, thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm here for you, man.
They found me recently, right? They found me
Right.
recently. They hosted me. It was kind of surprising. I checked them out. It's some good stuff, guys. Check them out. It's OP Poker. You can see their social medias somewhere here in the stream. Okay, check them out. We will talk about some good stuff today. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I have some questions prepared here, Nick. You don't know them. You don't know them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I've got a couple notes here myself of the stuff that I want to say so I don't forget, but I'm looking for some probing ones as well.
Yeah. And if you have questions, feel free to ask me anytime, okay? You can do that as well. And
nice.
Also for the chat, throw your questions in the chat. And we will get to the questions as quick as possible, okay? But for the most part, we will let Nick talk here a little bit, because we have a lot of stuff to cover here. All right, let's start with it. Okay, let's go with your introduction. Who is Nick? Let the chat know who is Nick.
All right, my name is Nick. I am a co-founder of OP Poker, or I'm the co-founder of OP Poker. I was originally born in the United States. I moved to England when I was about 8 years old. I now live in the United Kingdom. I live in Brighton, which is on the south coast. And I've lived here for 21 years now, so I've been here for a while. Still have the accent, of course.
Yeah.
And I play poker.
You play poker. Okay, good.
I play poker.
Yeah, guys, if you want to know more about Nick, let us know here in the chat. Okay, let's talk about your blogs on Poker Strategy. People can find something about you as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think the last time we spoke, we were talking a little bit about me blogging in general, but at the moment I have two bankroll challenge blogs that you can find on Poker Strategy and on 2+2. But for me, blogging has always been really important because it was kind of how I got into poker in the first place. It was actually James who first suggested to me that I should start blogging about my poker. I think the first blog that I made was in 2013 or something like that, and that was when I really started to take poker seriously. And yeah,
does Ava have the link of your blogs?
She does, yes. And
Ava, you can post them there.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I've got two blogs on Poker Strategy and 2+2, except also you can read all of that straight from our website as well. If you go to www.op-poker.com, you can actually read the blog as it is there. We only have it on the forums because when we were first starting out, we wanted to make the blog as widespread as possible. But if you want to read the thing, you can read all of it in its entirety on the website.
Okay. Raccoon is asking you, how long do you play poker?
Oh, geez. Oh, man. I've played poker for, at least since university, probably a little bit before, and also kind of with my family as well. My family used to, there's a running joke in my family where we always wanted to play poker because all of our aunts and uncles would play poker at family events. And then we'd be like, hey, can we play poker? And they go, how old are you? And we'd say, oh, we're 8. And they go, but the thing is, you got to be 9 to play poker. That's the problem. And then the next year we go, okay, we're 9 now. Can we play poker? And they said, no, they changed the rules. You got to be 10 to play poker. And that's like, we do it even now. My uncle says, how old are you? And I go, 28. And he goes, sorry, you got to be 29 to play poker. I'm really sorry, buddy. Okay. But yeah, a really, really long time. But I've been taking it seriously, I guess, since 2013. Like I said, when I started doing that blog that James suggested. And ever since then, yeah, it's been on the up and up.
All right, good. Eva posted the link of his old blog.
Good stuff.
You can see them in the chat there, guys.
Yeah.
And welcome to the podcast. I can see some new names here. Welcome. Nick introduced himself already. Yeah. Okay, let's get to the next question. What is OP Poker? It's your brand. Let's talk about your brand.
What is OP Poker? This is the one that I have some notes for because I don't want to miss anything out. It's really important that I get this right.
Go ahead.
OP Poker is a website dedicated to PokerStars Power Up Poker. We aim to be the #1 source for all things Power Up, including strategy, beginner strategy, advanced strategy, intermediate strategy, Power Up news, Power Up streams. And it's also a primary goal of ours to be the most active Power Up community on the planet. And right now, to date, our Discord channel is by far the biggest and most active Power Up community on the planet. So we're achieving our goals, but we're always looking for more growth. So if you guys are looking to learn more about Power Up, be sure to check out our Discord channel.
Eva, yeah, if you don't mind, post the Discord
Lay it on there.
link. Hi, Peepan47, welcome. Yeah, okay. Eva is working good, right? Eva. Yeah. Let's talk about the other members of OP Poker.
That's good. We get on there. Okay, so the official team is myself, James, and Ava, all of which you'll see on the stream and on Discord and stuff. James is a longtime friend of mine. He's also been my poker coach since way back in the day. As I said, he was probably the person that really got me to take poker seriously in the first place. And Ava is our content manager and dedicated moderator on all the platforms. As you can see right now, she's helping out with the links. She's great.
Yeah, awesome. How did you meet James?
I originally met James while attending the University of Brighton. At the time, we were both partying a lot, and I was really fascinated by the fact that he was like, I mean, I was really into poker at that time anyway, because I was one of the founding members of the University of Brighton Poker Society.
Okay.
So I was playing poker and I was kind of surrounded by it, but I was kind of a fish. And I was really fascinated because James at the time had actually decided against going to university, and he was grinding out the micros. Like he was playing like $1 sit and goes and 5 and L, and he was paying the rent. And I thought that was like, I just thought that was so fat. Yeah. And like I would go around to his house.
When was it?
Jeez.
Wow.
That was in, I guess that must have been like 2012, 2011 or something like that.
Crazy.
Maybe not that long. Yeah, I guess so. And yeah, he was, I would go over to his house and I'd watch him play poker, and I'd be like, this is so awesome that you're so good at this. And we've been friends ever since, and we've traveled a lot ever since and all that jazz.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
But let's give him some information about James, how good he is really. What does he play? What did he play?
What can I say about James? The guy is a complete boss. He's been playing poker professionally for many years. He's shown an incredible ability to take on multiple formats with great success. Back in the day, he was playing a lot of heads up. He was playing high stakes heads up cash. All of those skills transfer really well into, you know, all of the other formats that we started to play. For a while, we were all playing spin and goes together, and then we were playing hypers together and all that other stuff. But I'm always looking to James for insight about poker, and he never fails. He has this amazing ability to really think critically about poker without like turning on autopilot. So you'll send him a situation, you'll send him a hand history, and you'll be like, hey, what do you think about this spot? I think I made the right move. And then he'll come back and he'll be like, maybe you should just like overbet shove the river. And you're like, oh, that's fucking stupid. But then you're like, oh, actually, that's totally, you look at it again and you're like, oh, of course, how could I not, like, yeah, you know. Yeah, he's awesome like that.
Okay. He plays high stakes, right?
Yes. I mean, at the moment, I think me and James are both fully dedicated to playing Power Up, which I guess we'll talk about in a sec. But yeah, I mean, James has been playing high stakes for several years. Most recently, we were playing a lot of heads up hypers, and me and him were putting in a lot of time. In fact, me and him did like this boot camp. Like I went and lived with him for 2 weeks or something, and all we did was like eat, sleep, and drink poker. Is that it? Maybe eat, sleep, poker, and then there was some drinking on the side. But yeah.
Okay. Do you know Maya Cactus in the chat?
I do know Maya. Yeah. Maya. Shout out to Maya. She is a critical member of Team OP. She seriously. She and a couple other members have been with us since day one, and they totally make the community, and they're always active and they're always talking. And honestly, like I'm so happy to see the community actually taking on a life of its own, because when you start something like this, you're always pushing for it to get bigger and better. But now I turn on my Discord in the morning and I just laugh. Like we just have so much fun, and we just talk about hands, and we tell each other that we're terrible, and we tell each other that we're amazing, and we play Cards Against Humanity and all kinds of stupid shit like that. So
okay, nice, sounds good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, welcome. All right, yeah, let's talk about the Power Up game itself. Okay.
All right.
Many people don't know that much about the Power Up game, and I also think it's only on PokerStars, right? It's Power Up.
That's right. That's right.
Let's introduce this game to those who don't know it.
All right, so basically, Power Up is a three-handed hyper sit and go. So it's a similar format to a spin and go, but you have the addition of these powers, these effects that change the outcome of hands or the different aspects of the game. So you could say it's a mixture between Hearthstone, or Magic the Gathering and Texas Hold'em. A really simple example of a power, and the one that most people know, is a card called Disintegrate. So, for example, when you play Disintegrate, it costs you some mana or some magic or some power or whatever you want to call it, and you can destroy board cards on the street that it's played. So, a lot of people identify, especially weaker players, they go, "Oh, I got all my money in, and the guy hit a spade, and if he didn't hit the spade, he wouldn't have had a flush, and I would have won the hand."
Okay.
So the reason Disintegrate is so well known is because I think a lot of people identify with the feeling of being like, I really wish that river never came down. But in this game, with when you play Disintegrate, you can stop the river from coming down completely. So if you're out of position and you think somebody has a flush draw of some variety, if the spade falls or the club falls or the heart falls or the diamond falls, you can play Disintegrate, destroy the river card,
He's flush
and
basically, yeah.
yeah, and you destroy their flush. So yeah, it's a little bit more complex than that, but that's pretty much what it is in a
How
nutshell.
many times can you destroy that card?
You okay? So on the flop, you can play a disintegrate and then clone a disintegrate and then disintegrate another card. So you can destroy two flop cards.
Okay.
But for the most part, you only get a power card once, and then you can only have one of a power card in your hand at any given time unless you clone another one during the play. But
Okay.
yeah, I
It's kind of
mean,
complicated, right? You have to
it's
get
it's
into this
it's
game.
it's a little bit complicated, and I think maybe that's why we're having so much success because there's a pretty steep learning curve, and yeah, it's really easy to make huge mistakes. Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Okay. Raccoon is asking, played Hearthstone and Magic before?
Yes, yeah, I was a really big Hearthstone fan. I was playing Hearthstone pretty much since day one. And actually, for the first couple seasons, the first 3 or 4 seasons or whatever, where they released new cards and all that,
Okay.
I had a completely free deck. I was just grinding it out. And because I started so early, it was okay because they weren't really talking about doing expansion packs and stuff like that for a while. So I was just grinding out the packs and just getting the free packs and just building up enough dust and whatever to make my own cards. I was never that good at it. I think I only ever got to like rank 5 or something like that. But James is I mean, James overall is a better game player than me anyway, and I think he had some success with Hearthstone. But yeah, we're still a big fan of those games for sure.
By the way, where is James?
Where's James?
Yeah.
He can't be with us at the moment,
Okay.
but yeah, no, he wishes he could be here.
Okay, but he will watch it later, right?
But he's watching it right now.
Oh,
He's just
okay.
he's
That's
just
interesting.
not available. He's just not available to be on the camera,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Hi, James. Hi.
Hey, James.
Okay. Um. Okay, we explained the game. It's kind of complicated, guys, as you heard. But Ava posted a link there where you can learn the game.
Yeah. I mean, at its core, it's just a three-handed winner-take-all sit and go. So at the end of the day, it's just about getting everyone else's chips. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and yeah, I mean, part of the fact that it's a three-handed winner-take-all actually has some cool implications as well because it means that it's relatively low variance. And yeah, I mean, if you have a good run, you can win some money.
Okay, let's talk about it. Exactly. About this money thing.
Hmm.
Is the game beatable or can you make some good money there? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. So
So
the
play
game is
for living. Let's say
the,
like that.
the game is definitely beatable, and I'm hesitant to say you can play for a living. You absolutely can play for a living, but the only thing I would say is the stakes thus far have only been up to the $7, right? So only this month, last month or the month before, I think it was last month, they added the $15 games. But once we start getting into the $15, $13, levels,
Okay.
you absolutely can play this game for a living. And some of our Discord members are saying they have between a 15 and 20% ROI,
Wow.
which is obviously insane,
Yeah.
and it's a game. I mean, I know if James was here, he would
James
stop
is
me
here.
from saying
James
that.
is here.
He is here. Okay, well, I'm going to speak for James here because whenever I say our Discord members have 20% ROI, we're not sure if that's sustainable. It's just because the game is still relatively new, so obviously you're going to have a larger edge against complete beginners and all that. But what I'm getting at is you can have a very high ROI, and a lot of the people who right off the bat said this game is just an RNG fest. It's just circus poker. Maybe it is circus poker,
I hear it a lot.
but
I hear it a
yeah,
lot.
no,
Yes, yes.
it's and it's not for everybody. I understand that for
Okay.
sure. I'm not going to try and force anybody to think that this is a more valid form of poker or whatever, because I know there's a lot of purists, and I hear you guys. I totally understand where you're coming from, but you absolutely can beat it, and it is not an RNG fest. You can have a sustained and legitimate win rate playing this game just like any other form of poker.
You can hear it. Yeah. Okay. But that ROI, I think that sounds crazy.
Well, so okay, so me personally, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely not the best player online at the moment. You guys can follow along with my bankroll challenge. You can find it on 2plus2 or on Poker Strategy or on our website. As you can see there, I think at the moment I've got close to a 14% ROI now after 1,200 games or 1,000 games or something like that. I can't remember.
Okay.
And that's building the bankroll starting from $30, and we're already up to almost 600. Today we almost got to $600, so we're 60% of the way to proving that this game is absolutely a viable way of making money, and that you can sustainably beat it. You know.
Okay. But
And I'm a fish, and I'm a complete fish.
you're a
So
fish in
if
this
I
game.
can do it,
No,
if
come
I can
on.
do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think James is successful in that game because he has a lot of knowledge from other games, right?
Yeah. And actually, the other thing I would say as well is when I find myself coming off the table, when I find myself stop playing Power Up, and then I go and play live or something. Obviously, live is usually soft
You
anyway,
play tournaments or cash
but
game?
I tend to play cash games, but I
Okay.
do a bit of both. You know, it's kind of like when I learned how to play PLO for the first time. I was like, "Whoa, this is so fun! This is so crazy!" And then my brain was all about PLO. And then you go back to a hold'em table, and you have this better understanding about draws, and you have a better understanding about like, you know, when you start playing hold'em, you're really hesitant to make bluffs, and you're really hesitant to make c bets.
Okay.
And your friends are telling you, you know, you should c bet more frequently, but you don't really understand why. And then when you play PLO, you realize how frequently people do actually miss flops with two cards. And it's kind of that, you know, like the more that I play Power Up, the more I'm kind of sitting at a hold'em table and I'm going, wow, this is so much easier than having to like consider all of the variables in Power Up, you know? So
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like anything. Like having a good background in sit and goes and spinning goes is definitely
That helps
helpful.
you for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. And there's a lot of situations in Power Up when you play a card called EMP, and you can make very simplified decisions that you would usually make in a spin and go. But a lot of those decisions people don't know. You know, a lot
Okay.
of people don't know about shoving ranges. A lot of people don't know about Nash ranges. A lot of people don't know about what kind of hands you should be limp trapping with, what other hands you should be shoving pre-flop to deny equity and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, a good background helps, and in James's case, that's a perfect example. You know, and he's just got this mind that works like he's
James is
got this
crazy.
like
Yeah.
he's just got this like supercomputer mind, and he's like, wait a minute, what if you check jam the turn? And you're like, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? You know, he's a genius, man. He's a
Okay.
genius, and I'm really happy that he came on this journey with me, because without him, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Okay. But what about the variance of this game? I mean,
So
you talk about a lot of spinning goes. We all know that spinning goes has a high variance, right?
yeah, Spinning Ghost has high variance, and it's really it's a volume game. You know, me and James were playing Spinning Ghost professionally for quite some time,
Professionally,
and
spinning goes you.
yep.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, and well, actually, I should mention as well.
It's a crazy game.
I managed to hit a jackpot.
Yeah, we talk
spinning
about
goal.
that. Yeah, we talk about that.
We'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, we
Oh,
get
we
on
can
that
do
in
it
a bit.
now. We can do it now. If you want to do. Let's go
Well,
ahead.
okay.
Let's go
So
ahead.
long story short, me and James decided that we were going to start taking Spin and Go seriously, because we have some friends who have had a lot of success with those, and they were showing us their magical secrets. And yeah, basically grind, putting in some volume. I was on like 100 buy-in downswing, and I was like way below EV, blah blah blah.
Which limits?
And then
If I may ask.
I'm about to go out, and my girlfriend's like, "Hey, you got to get ready. What the fuck are you doing? Stop playing poker."
Okay.
And then I was like, give me a second. And I looked away, and I looked back at the computer, and I was playing for $150,000. And it was like,
Which limit
oh,
was that, Nick? Which limit?
the $15 games at the
Wow.
time. Yeah.
Guys,
And I
can you say that again? Can you...
and suddenly I was like, I was counting the zeros, and I was like, what? That's
No.
anyway. The match was kind of here and there, and you know, we all had kind of the same chips, and the blinds were going up.
Okay.
I found pocket nines on the button, and I shoved, and the guy in the big blind had ace jack, and it came down 3 bricks, 4 bricks, and then jack on the river. and I was eliminated, and I got $15,000 for taking part.
50,000. How did you feel after it?
I mean, I was buzzing, but also because it was so surreal, I don't think I was ever like that upset about the fact that I missed out on 150K. I have friends that are more like more like traumatized by the fact that I didn't win 150K than I am, because for me it was just like complete, it was just so unreal to be playing for that kind of money
Yeah.
and you have a real shot when you're playing a three-handed winner take all, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's a crazy life to play spinning goals, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean
Yeah.
the guys that I was learning from, I mean they basically they had proven that you can beat spin and goes, because their win rate on a single game was already profitable,
Okay.
regardless of all the huge multipliers, like that all played into it. But their ability to play like 4, 5, 6 tables as well was totally blowing my mind. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy, crazy.
But
Yeah.
sorry,
Finish.
mate. Yeah. So, but yes, we were talking about the variance on these games.
Yeah, but
The
before we
variance
start
is,
with that,
is yeah.
people had a question.
Okay.
What do you think about regs on Power Poker? They are any yet?
They are what?
They aren't any yet. He's probably asking, right?
No, I would say the exact opposite. There are there are several regs, some of which are very good, some of which are very bad.
Okay.
I would say that probably all of the regs that I play are probably all winning players, because again, we're playing in a player pool against people that have had little to zero to no experience playing the game whatsoever. And when you make a mistake in power up, you can make huge mistakes. Like,
Okay.
it's the difference between having 30% and having 0%, And sometimes in Power Up, you can do things where you try to guarantee yourself that you're going to make a flush or something. But if you don't know how the powers work and in what order they play, people can actually deny those and take it the exact opposite direction. So you can put all your chips in thinking that you're going to make a flush,
Okay.
and then your opponent can just take it away from you and you're drawing dead. So talking about regs, a lot of the regs are already members of our Discord channel, so we're all over there talking about strategy and telling each other how we think we're bad and we're good, and we help each other improve and all that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, there are regs, except since they've started advertising the game more, I've seen, like today, for example, and this whole week, it's just been like new face, new face, new face, new face, soft, 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 soft. So I think we're starting to see the real potential of this game to show, because the game is still technically in beta. It's not even been, it's not an official released game yet.
Why beta?
Because this is a brand new product. PokerStars wanted to test it, so they've had it online and they've had it available to play.
Okay.
But through process of elimination, people are submitting bug reports and stuff like that.
Oh.
And we've been facilitating a lot of those bug reports with stars and with players that
Okay.
we know. And now it's getting refined. It's becoming closer to what it should be. There's still a couple bugs that we need to iron out, but we'll get there eventually. But since we've seen advertisement, we're seeing a lot more players. We're seeing a lot more players, and I think if you're good enough, you can beat the regs pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, you're just trying to find those games where you're against recreationals for sure.
As always, right? As always.
As always.
That's how
Yeah.
poker works, guys.
That
works.
is the hidden secret of poker that nobody tells. They never tell you that in any poker books. They never they you have to meet somebody before they tell you, like, the true secret is just find soft games.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to this question. So you got sidetracked
Okay.
here.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
About the variance of this game.
Right. So it's very low variance.
Low variance. Okay.
Very low variance. Yeah, James, if you're listening, could you please share your insight in this in the chat, please? Because I know that there's a program called Slong Simulator, and essentially what you do is you put in what you think that your win rate is, your ROI is. You put in the game, you put in the format, you put in the rake and all the other stuff, and then this thing will actually tell you how frequently you're going to have a big buy-in loss and what that's going to look like. So it'll tell you, for example, 1% of the time. I think when James told me, he said 1% of the time when you're playing spin and goes, you'll have a 30 buy-in downswing, and that was like the absolute nut worst. If you had like a 15% ROI, the nut worst thing that could ever happen to you is having a 30 buy-in swing, and 30 buy-ins is jack shit, really. Yeah, it's really nothing in terms of hypers. And if we're talking about spin and goes, man, I've been punished before. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to suffer playing high variance games for sure.
Yeah, man. I also played some heads up hypers and spinning goes. They killed me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I mean, it's one of those things. Like you want to make fast cash,
Yeah.
and it's a good way to do it. But you need to be on the top of your game all the time for sure, and you can't let your guard down. Yeah, but if James, if you could share your insight with that, because I know that he run the simulation, he
Okay.
can tell you what a really big downswing looks like. But as far as I understand it, this is one of the lowest variance forms of poker.
Okay. Shannon is asking, since which age are you playing poker?
Well, I probably learned how to play poker when I was really, really young, but I guess I've only really been taking it seriously since I was 18 or so.
Okay. Yeah, guys, if you missed the beginning of this podcast, you can watch it afterwards on my channel here, and I will also upload this podcast tomorrow probably on my YouTube channel. So, yeah, you will not miss
Nice.
anything here. Okay. Do you think this can be an esport one day? This Power Up game?
Yes,
Why?
absolutely.
Okay. Interesting.
This is another one I've got notes on. I'm not reading off this, by the way. I just want to make sure that I get all my points here.
But before I
Absolutely.
start, James is
Yeah.
saying, I agree with you, Nick, totally. If you are winning well, you shouldn't have a downswing more than 30 buy-ins very often at
Right.
all.
Right, exactly. And I think that was only 1% of the time. So you have to be unlucky to have one of the biggest downswings, and the worst it can get is 30 buy-ins if you have an EV of around 15% or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But do I think this could be an esport? Yes, absolutely. I think the core game itself is really fun. It's very engaging. It's proven that this
Okay.
can be a real thing, and it's not just an RNG fest, and it's not just bingo or whatever you want to say. I think in order for it to be a legitimate esport, it will require a little bit more development. I know many Hearthstone players who have told me before, like, I wish I could play this game for money.
Hmm.
Most of the time it's just bragging or whatever, but I think that a lot of the draw of being a pro Hearthstone player is being invited to play for cash at BlizzCon or DreamHack or whatever they're called, all of these big gaming conventions. I recently met an extremely successful Hearthstone player who goes by the name of Reynad. So shout out to Reynad if you're watching, or if you watch this on replay. I briefly explained the idea behind Power Up to him because that's when me and James were just getting into it when I met him in Bucharest. And he was saying he loved the sound of that because, like he was kind of into poker, and obviously he plays Hearthstone for money as it is, but
Okay.
there's not a platform to compete for money for obvious reasons in Hearthstone. And I think probably he knows that his skills are very transferable. So, for him, it would be kind of an easy transition to go from I'm amazing at Hearthstone and now I kind of want to like learn how to play this game that I can actually just grind out for cash. But basically, I think if PokerStars nurtures the game and it gives the game a lot of love and they make really creative powers, and if they nurture the community as well, I think we could definitely see a legitimate esport emerging. And yeah.
Okay. James also saying, in contrast, I had a 200 buy-in downswing on spinning goes
Yeah.
with a nice chip EV.
Yeah. I had a good chip
crazy.
EV as well. I think I had a chip EV of close to 50, which is considered very good, I
This
think. I
this
hope.
game has the most variants, right? The highest
Yeah, I
variance.
mean,
The highest.
it's very high. I don't want to say it has the highest. I'm
No,
not actually
entities,
sure.
of course, entities, right? But
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I had a 100 bind down swing, and I was beating the game for sure. So
it's crazy.
yeah, it's kind of nice not to have that variance anymore in my life. But
Okay. Shanatron, I don't know what you mean, but the money it's making, it's not an esport? What do you mean by that? What was your biggest cash? Shanatron is very curious.
my biggest cash.
Spinning go, right? The spinning go cash
I
game?
well, I guess the spinning go. I think I had a
15K, right?
10,000. What's
15K.
that?
15K,
Fif-
right?
15K US, but I think my biggest cash ever was 10 or 11,000 pounds. I won playing live poker. That
Okay.
was in a tournament. Yeah, but yeah, it's. I think my biggest ever cash was actually live.
Okay. Uh, let's get to the next question here. So, we know now, but that is a low variance game, right? And it's
Yeah.
easy to beat. But what kind of other reasons would you give to us to play this game? Why should we play this game?
Okay, so I believe that Hearthstone. There we go. Yeah, see, I'm thinking about Hearthstone now.
Yeah.
I believe that Power Up is. I think first of all, it's just fun. Like I think we need to remember that this is a game, And I know a lot of people have become very disenchanted with online poker for whatever reason, some of which are valid, some of which aren't, you know. But I think it's interesting, and I think James said it well the other day. He said playing Power Up is very taxing mentally. It's really difficult. It requires a lot of focus because there's a lot more things to consider, you know.
Okay.
But he said it's like the first time that he can just play a form of poker like all day, you know. So even though it's maybe more taxing than playing normal poker, it's engaging enough to actually just sit and play it all day long. It's very soft. That's another good reason that we mentioned. Unlike other forms of online poker, it's growing, you know, because at the moment we're seeing in the poker industry, there's a lot of stagnation. There's a lot of markets that are becoming smaller. A lot of websites are closing down heads up tables because there's not enough action on them,
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
thing.
Heads up cash game. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and what we know about Power Up is it's a growing community. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's quite unusual. Another really good one, actually, now I think of it, is you can build a bankroll from like small starting capital, and I know that is a big draw for people, you know, because the idea behind online poker is you can go play micros and then you grind it up, and then you're playing mid stakes, and then you grind it up. You can play high stakes, and I totally believe that you can still do that these days, even though everyone says poker's dead and blah blah blah. But this game offers a very low variance way to build small starting capital into a legitimate bankroll, like a high stakes bankroll. And hopefully the bankroll challenge is going some way to proving that, because we've taken 30 and we've turned it into almost $600. But I suspect that we are going to be hitting our 1K goal in the next couple weeks, hopefully. Don't take my word for that, but
Yeah,
don't want to jinx
let's
it.
talk quick about the bankroll challenge.
Yeah. So
Yeah, how did you start there? And how
so
does it now?
basically we decided that the only way that we were going to legitimize Power Up Poker was by actually creating like a real world example of somebody actually beating it. And
Okay.
I don't think me and James would feel comfortable starting a website about strategy and starting a website trying to teach people how to play the game if we didn't feel confident enough that we could beat it ourselves.
Yeah.
And actually, when I started out the Bankroll Challenge, I had played very little Power Up. I was only learning from what James had learned while it was still in Play Money. The game hadn't even really been released for real money. So everything that I had learned had been tested on Play Money tables. And so we just took a huge, jump in the deep end. I remember having a conversation with James, actually. I said, I want to do a bankroll challenge, and at the bottom of my overlay, I want to have what the bankroll is, and I want to have my ROI. And he's like, oh man, maybe we shouldn't have the ROI because it might go bad, and it might look bad. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to do it. I need to prove to myself that this is something that I can do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't feel comfortable trying to sell something to people or trying to teach people if I didn't already feel confident that I could do it myself. And
Okay.
yeah, so basically we started with $30, and we said that we were going to do a 20 buy-in shot rule. So basically we started at the $1 games, and when we had 20 buy-ins at the $3 games, so when we had $60, we would take one shot at the $3 games, and if it went well, we would keep going up, and if it went bad, we would go back down to the ones until we meet that condition again.
Okay.
And ever since then, we've been moving up, and now we're playing the highest possible stakes at the 15s. And hopefully, if the traffic continues, we'll be able to play the 30s as well in this challenge. That would be cool too.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm also curious if if other poker sites offer this game as well in the future. Really.
So I would be very surprised if PokerStars is not very protected, because this is game.
It's just from poker
Even
stars,
though,
yeah?
okay, so you can definitely only play this game on PokerStars, but
Yeah.
also, I mean, there have been games that were like it. I know that there was a game called Hold'em X. I never really played it myself, but there were some similarities.
Okay.
But I think probably if a rival poker company tried to tell Stars that they were going to be launching a game that had powers, I think there would be hell to pay. And I think I would really like to see it succeed on PokerStars because they have such a large market share anyway, and I want to see liquidity. I want to see new blood. I don't want to feel like I have to go and join another site, and then there's going to be like 3 regs all day long, or whatever like that.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to try and launch something as like audacious as Power Up and as bold, like a lot of people hate Power Up. If you're
Yeah, I
going to
know,
try and
yeah,
launch
I know,
this,
yeah, yeah.
you need to start with a big group of people because there's going to be a lot of resistance. So I think they're doing the right thing.
The thing is, if just for example, if people doesn't know that much about a certain thing, they just hate it, okay? Because there's a lack of understanding, right?
Yeah. And actually, when I started the project, I said to myself, you need to be prepared because you're gonna be streaming and people are just going to be like, this is stupid, this is shit,
Yes,
you
they
know.
don't. Yeah,
And
I know. Yeah.
and actually, I'm so pleasantly surprised to find that on the stream, I'm there streaming a game, and somebody shows up and they're like, "Oh, look, I can't believe what's happened to poker. This is disgusting." Like,
I know.
and then 5 minutes later, the same guy is like, "Wow, that was a really cool play. I didn't know you could do that before."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Yeah," and I explain the reasoning behind it, and then I talk about like, "Yeah, so basically we're giving ourselves, a 90% chance to win this hand like every time." And they're like, "Oh, actually, I think I'm going to give this game a try now. Like, it looks really interesting." And like I've maybe had like one person completely hate it, but everybody else who comes with that opinion, they change their mind really quickly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, your job is it to promote this game and show people what this game is all about, and they are wrong about it, right?
Yeah, it it,
It's a
it, it
tough
is.
job, right? Because it's at the beginning, it's in a beta version, as you said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think it is our job at OP to try and bring this game into popularity. But to be honest, we're doing it for purely selfish reasons because we want to see the game be awesome for our, for our own gain,
Yeah.
And I mean, we on the website we want to educate people on the basics. We want to teach people some of the combinations that maybe they haven't considered before. And because there's a big barrier there, right, as well. Like most people sit down and there's too much going on and they don't want to look at it. And we've had a lot of people tell us like, why are you giving this content away for free? Why are you teaching
Yeah.
people how to? But but if anything, I think what we're doing is going to be beneficial for all the regs in the long run anyway. Because if I was a complete fish and I came and looked at this game, I would be like, there's way too much going on here. I'm not even going to bother, you know. But with the stream and with the strategy and all the other stuff like that, I think we're giving people a legitimate shot at competing and at least understanding the game better, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Good. Guys, if you don't know, he's also a poker streamer, Nick.
Yes, I
Yes.
am. I am.
Let's
I
talk
stream
about
poker.
this. So, how did you start with streaming? The story behind that.
So James and I have always wanted to do something with poker, like a strategy site or a stream or something. But at the time when we started to talk about it was kind of before streaming poker was a thing, and then streaming poker became a big thing with Jamie Staples, and shout out to Jamie and everybody, of course, and Spraggy and all those great guys at PokerStars. And it was really saturated, and we both knew that there would be this huge uphill struggle because even though we're good at poker, there's lots of people who are good at poker on on Twitch, and you kind of need an angle. You need a niche. You need something that you can get into. And I remember when James found Power Up, he instantly messaged me and said, "I found this game and I think we could be really good at it." And I was kind of like, "Oh, okay." And I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, okay. It sounds a little bit weird."
Hmm.
But then when he showed me the game, I was like, "This is really cool." And I think we found an opportunity to start a company from something that just nobody else is doing. Nobody's even looking at this. Most people aren't even
Yes.
taking this seriously.
It's
And
a
we
good
felt
business
like,
move. It's a good
well,
business move.
it's
Yeah.
it's a good business move, but I want to make it clear as well. It wasn't just because nobody else was doing it. It was also because I feel like it wouldn't be wasted because I think that a lot of people will like this game in time, And I felt like we struck gold because we were like, this game is amazing. We can be really good at it. It's like everything that we're good at. Plus, I'm also a web developer, so I could build the website and manage all of the digital stuff. And James is like a genius poker player, and Ava's amazing at like managing James and I, and all of the stuff that comes with that as well. So it was like we struck gold, and we're like, nobody else is doing this. This is crazy. We just need to start now before
Yeah.
anyone else realizes that this is cool, and then we can establish ourselves as the best resource for Power Up. And we decided that streaming would be the best way to get our voice heard.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you just go on the poker lobby while we're streaming, if you're scrolling down, you see some Russian guys, you see some people showing reruns of Poker After Dark, and then you see this table and you see these power cards, and you're like,
In the
what is
stream.
this?
Yeah. Yeah. Thumbnails. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And ever since we've been streaming, our numbers have been increasing, and PokerStars has been really great. They've been in touch with us, and we talk with those guys almost every day on the development team about how to improve the game and when people have problems with bugs. And yeah, that was how we got into it.
Let's talk about just so you said it's Ava, James, and you, right? But why do we only see you as a streamer and not James?
So basically, James travels a lot,
Okay.
and just logistically speaking, we decided that it would be best for me to do the streaming, and then for him to do the strategy videos, which is why
Okay.
you hear him and you see him for the most part on our site. But in the future, hopefully with the help of PokerStars, we will have the facilities to expand our stream massively. We have like big plans. And we certainly hope to get James in front of a computer, in front of a camera at some point. Actually, we saw his face for the first time
When?
in a strategy video recently, and it's one of my favorite strategy videos that he did, and I thought he was really good on camera. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see him do some streaming as well. Plus, you know, it's a load off my back. You know,
Yeah, guy.
you guys don't always have to look at my ugly face.
Yeah, guys, you can find some strategy videos on the YouTube channel. So check this out. And
Yeah.
if I say he also had a sick host rate from PokerStars, I was there. Talk about that. That was
That
sick,
was
guys.
great.
That
Yeah,
was
actually,
sick.
I can't believe I forgot about it. Yeah, so basically, like I said, PokerStars and us, PokerStars and Team OP have been, you know, we've been really trying to nurture a good relationship with them, and we hope to do big things in the future with those guys. And basically, you know, they decided that it would be a good idea to host us, and we went from hosting to like 20 or 30 people to hosting over 1,200 people in the space of about 5 minutes, and the chat exploded.
That was crazy.
And I was trying to
How big was the
think
rate again? How big was it? 1,000 people,
1,200.
right?
Yeah,
man,
it was
crazy.
over 1,200 at one point. And you know, I was trying to keep it cool, but internally I was screaming like a little girl.
And
You
guys,
know,
they followed.
and I was like, hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the
Yeah.
channel. And then I finished the stream, and I like stuck my head in the pillow, and I was like,
And they followed you constantly, right? The people there, the viewers.
yeah. So
non-stop following.
yeah, basically for 20 minutes I had a follower just on repeat, and I've got this voice line which says, you know, we've got Darth Vader saying, "You don't know the power of the dark side," or something like that.
Them, they will hear that voice.
And the reason why we like that voice line is because a lot of people feel like what we're doing is like the dark side of poker. Like, why would you ever play this dirty game? Like, this isn't real poker.
Yeah.
And so for 20 minutes I was listening. You don't know the power of it, but it was like music to my ears. You know, I was happy to get a big following. It was beautiful. You know, it was a great moment.
Now?
What's that?
You know why I'm laughing now?
Yeah.
Because afterwards you guys hosted me.
Yeah. Okay, I was about to say, if you go to our website, we have an article dedicated to the day when this happened, because it was really big for us. And then immediately afterwards, we hosted Mo with about 170 or 200 viewers, and he was like, "Yeah, so I don't know what to do in this spot." Oh my god!
Oh my
god! Oh my god! Oh my god! It was beautiful. So I clipped it, and now it's going to be on the internet forever. And when me and you are in Vegas playing cash games, I'm going to get it on my phone, and I'm going to be like, "You remember this?"
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, but we'll talk about that cash game thing in Vegas in a second. Yeah, guys, Eva posted it on the chat, the link where I got crazy when OP Poker hosted me. You can see the chat there. But maybe you also saw it on my Instagram. I posted it there as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question. So about a streamer thing, do you want to become a big streamer? And do you love this game? I think yes, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't stream it, you wouldn't promote it.
Yes. I mean, okay. So in short, I really want to see the OP Poker stream grow.
It will for sure.
I don't think maybe that necessarily means that it's always going to be me. I would really love to see more streamers. I'd like to have a stream schedule, maybe 4 or 5 days a week, maybe more. I don't know how it works out. It depends how many people we have join us. You know.
What's the schedule now? Let them know.
That?
What's the schedule now? Let them know.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. At the moment, we stream from 2 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. GMT, I should mention. But we usually do a third day, but it's always random. It depends kind of what my schedule looks like. But basically, I want to see more streams with more people, because I want to have different personalities. I don't just want it to be me all the time. I want to see different skill levels. I have this idea in my head that me and James will find like this person who's never played any poker whatsoever, and then 1 day a week or 2 days a week we just coach them on stream.
Okay.
And then people can follow along, you know, as if they were being coached or whatever. But I think it's ridiculously important that we have streams like OP Poker if PokerStars wants to see this game become a legitimate esport. Because can you think of an esport that isn't streamed? Can you think of an esport that doesn't have a huge base of people who all fucking love it, and they all want to be streaming it? They want to be playing in live tournaments. They want to like grind their way up the ranks. They want to, like if you play Hearthstone
Yeah.
and you're serious about it, you want to be legendary rank and you want to go to BlizzCon and you want to be playing for, 100
Absolutely.
grand or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and
I'm
that's
I'm really curious to see how this all goes. But
it's
I know you will grow because you are working with PokerStars, or you about to do something big with them, right? Yeah.
well,
But
hopefully.
speaking of PokerStars, so would you be interested in working with them more and become a pro
Yeah.
or something like that? PokerStars Pro.
I mean, since day one of our primary goals was, of course, to work with PokerStars. And I remember
Okay.
me and James saying, "Okay, cool. This is a great idea. What is going to be, what is going to be the absolute like best outcome in the world?" And that would be obviously to work directly with PokerStars and find a way to
Yes.
make this a full-time job for me and James. We are really grateful to have created such an amazing relationship with the development team already. Those guys are amazing. They give us so much love. They give us so much support. But I think it's something that absolutely needs to happen with people like OP Poker, like with teams like OP Poker, in order for it to be a legitimate esport. We've already facilitated loads and loads of bug reports that have ultimately led in the fixes that you see now. So whenever you see an update, there's a really good chance that a bug report has come from one of our community members or something like that. People sending log files. By the way, guys, if you ever experience any problems with bugs, either on the mobile app or on the tablet or whatever, just send PokerStars a message, explain to them exactly what happened,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure you send the log files as well. In the settings, there you have an option to send log files, and that's the best way for them to resolve the issues, and that's the best way for the game to get fixed. I should also do a really big shout out to anyone listening here. Please sign up to our Discord channel. There's a link on our Twitch page. There's also a link on the website as well. We have a dedicated tab on there that is just for ideas on how to improve Power Up, or to turn Power Up into a cash game, or how to do an MTT
That would be
for
interesting.
And I think MTTs are another thing that really have to happen, because in the Twitch poker community, MTTs are just the be all and end all. Like, I'm not a huge MTT fan,
Yeah.
but I know that that's what people want to watch.
Yeah.
So I believe that we have to somehow make this into an MTT. But if you go and join our Discord channel right now, you can explain how you want to see Power Up be an MTT. And without you guys telling them, they're never going to find out. But also on our Discord channel, the developers are there with us every day. So you're not just sharing on a random forum and just bitching. They're actually going to read what you say, and they're actually going to take action on what you say as well. So your voice will be heard on OP Poker.
I will post every link that Ava gives me then later on the YouTube description there.
Yeah.
Okay, you can
Thanks,
find
man.
it then down below in the description, guys.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that makes it easier. Because now the live viewers can see it, right? You can click on the links, but for the YouTube
Right.
viewers, yeah, I'll make that. Okay, let's talk now about the future, okay? So, guys, what happens in the future, guys? As Nick mentioned about the cash game in Vegas.
Yeah, well, okay. So should we start there, Mo? So basically, me and Mo wanna just pack everything up and move to Vegas and play cash games. What do you think, man?
Sounds awesome, man. My viewers
Sounds
know it
awesome.
already.
Okay. I mean, actually, like the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, OP Poker, whatever. Put that to one side. Me and Mo will just go live in Vegas. That sounds better. Let's do that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, my viewers know it already. So we will go to Vegas one day for sure. You will see us vlogging, guys. I will
Definitely.
be a vlogger. You know that
Definitely.
already. So
Definitely.
I can't see myself streaming in 1 or 2 years, probably. Right?
Okay.
But I will do this podcast thing. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah,
But-
man. Podcasts are great.
Yeah, guys, what is so cool about it? Now we talk about it, okay? And in 1 or 2 years, you will see it happen. We will make a video of that, okay? A highlight.
Goals, man. Goals.
Yes.
Maybe we should those pictures where that thing where you find a baby picture of you and your sister, and then they recreate the picture as adults.
Yeah.
We can do something like that, but
will
in
do that.
Vegas, right?
We will do that.
we can be in hotel rooms in Vegas, Skyping each other, and we'll screenshot what you have right here, and we'll
Can
be
you-
like, oh, like JK, we're not actually streaming anymore.
Yeah.
We're just in Vegas.
Can you see what Ava's texting in the chat?
No, I can't. What did she say?
You can? She says, well, you can still bitch, point, and they can hear it. Just
True.
keep it constructive. You two running
True.
away. You two
Yeah,
running away
that-
together,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
That would
and
happen.
I keep saying this, and I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to hype up my own thing. Like, we just have so much fun on Discord. It's a great bunch of people, and sometimes everybody doesn't get along. It's a bunch of adults as well. It's not this like squeaky clean environment. It's a place where we can talk trash and we can learn from each other and we can talk to stars and we can bitch. And I think sometimes constructive bitching is the best way to get stuff done. So yeah, yeah, I agree with you there.
All right. Okay. Still about the future. So,
Yeah.
what are the future plans? So, let's get serious, you know. But I mean,
All right.
we were serious, right? The Vegas will
Right.
happen.
Always. Yeah. Always very serious. Yeah, yeah.
It will happen.
All right.
But what are the
Well,
plans? Where would you like to see OP Poker in the future?
that's a good question. Okay, so we absolutely 100% want to expand our stream schedule to incorporate more streamers and different formats of poker. We would love to have a bigger presence online in general and continue
Okay.
to establish ourselves as the best power up community resource available anywhere. If any of you play Hearthstone out there, the way that I see OP Poker is the same way that people see Icy Veins or Tempo Storm or top Hearthstone decks. You know, all of these communities where people are sharing deck building tips and stuff like that. I want to be that, but the best of all of it. We also want to increase the volume of content that we produce. So we want to be doing more on YouTube. We want to be doing stream highlights. I know me and you spoke about this a little bit,
Yes.
Mo. And it's something that I wanted to do since day one, but we just don't have the resources to get it done at the moment.
Okay.
We want to do more strategy content. We want to have more news articles. We want to have opinion pieces, just like people who are influential in the game or influential in other like if it turns out that the people that run Hearthstone, like if Blizzard are like, hey, we love what you're doing and we want to do a crossover, we want to be the people to talk to Blizzard and see how they feel about games like this. We want to do more interesting blogs and challenges. Like I want to have more bankroll challenges and stuff like that. More like, can you make $1,000 in 2 weeks? All that crazy stuff. I also want to see interesting blogs to do with oh shit, my mind's just gone blank. I want to see interesting blogs to do with skip that one. I've completely lost it.
Maybe you will
wanna
remind
see-
it later. Okay.
Yeah, I'll remember it later. I want to have more session reviews. Oh, sorry. I know what I was going to say. Yeah. I want to have like challenges, which are like solo, but I also want to see some rivalry. You know, I want to see some really big players go, okay, heads up for rolls. You know, I want to have all that happen on our channel as well. I want to see the first ever OP Poker sponsored heads up home game, high stakes, over 1,000 games, like Tom Dwan style, all that jazz. I want to see loads more session reviews. I want community members to send in their play, and then we can talk about it, and we can teach people how to be better. And if the game becomes something to do with deck building or deck drafting, something to do with picking the power cards that go in, we don't know if that's going to be a reality yet. We've spoken about that a little bit in our own podcast, so you can check those out too. But if that becomes a thing, I want to have the best place for everybody to share that kind of stuff as well. At the moment, OP Poker is a part-time labor of love. But hopefully we can find a way to work with stars in the future to make all those goals a reality.
Man, there is a lot to do.
It
sounds amazing. Really.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I ticked off everything off my list.
Yeah, that was a lot.
that's the whole thing.
But in 2 years, we both are gone. Okay. We will go to Vegas. OP Poker, sorry.
It's in 2 years. OP Poker, GG, Vegas. Let's do it.
Nick, you can say GG, right?
I can say GG.
Okay, guys, if you have any questions about the Power Up game, OP Poker, throw them in the chat. Because now we will move on with some other topics. Okay. But I think you said a lot, right? And if you missed the beginning, you will find this podcast afterwards on my Twitch channel here, and also tomorrow probably on my YouTube channel. The good thing is my podcast get more clicks in general than my other videos. That's a good thing.
Awesome. Yeah,
Podcasting is fine, man.
I'm sorry if I've been talking your ear off this whole time. I'm just like really passionate about this, and I've got a lot to say.
I can see it, especially talked about the future and the goals.
Hey man, I can see it's so close. It's right here, and I can feel it in my hands, and I just want to make it happen no matter what.
Yeah, it will happen. It will happen for sure, man. We all see it coming. We can make also maybe a clip about that. Just talk about it, and it will happen in the future. Yeah, I got a quick question, and I'm curious for the answer. What do you say about the intention of PokerStars behind creating Power Poker, which is to lure non-poker players on their side and into the rake harvesting machines, respectively, into using their betting in casino games once they are on the side?
Do you know what? I want to respond to that, but there are implications. I think maybe you've touched on some of the implications of creating a game that is similar to a game that is played by younger people and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that's really for me to say because for me, this is a game that is played by adults, and and I think probably their intentions here were to just try and shake up the industry because we all know that poker is dead, blah blah blah, and there's a lot of websites that are shutting down and a lot of marketplaces that used to be busy before Black Friday and now we're seeing a decline in player pools overall.
Yeah.
I feel like PokerStars is doing something very radical to try and put a little bit more life into this game. I think they're also trying to make a game that will appeal to people that have a problem with bots, for example, because one of the reasons why this game is quite cool is the fact that it's so complex, it's very difficult to create a bot for.
Okay.
And also because PokerStars can change aspects, they can bring in new cards, they can change the effects of cards. If they have a season that lasts 3 months or something like that, that's not enough time for somebody to alter a bot enough to actually beat other good players. You know what I mean? So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a game which is competitive, a game that could be an esport. I think they're trying to bring players that have left the community for various reasons back into the game. I think also they're trying to appeal to esports players in general, right? But I think they're trying to appeal to adult esports players. Loads of pro esports players, loads of pro Hearthstone players, the majority of pro Magic the Gathering players are all over the age of 18. So I don't think this is a huge money grab like we're trying to like get young kids to come over to the dark side and log into PokerStars and all that jazz. And I think that's going to happen to a degree no matter what. I think what they're doing is just super positive, and I think they're doing it for the right reasons. And actually what we've seen with the structure changes that we had on Power Up, they had an opportunity there to make the structure completely bullshit. They had a chance to take the structure that was really competitive and then make it a complete luck fest. At one point they were experimenting with having antes in the game, and it made the game so fast and so high variance. They immediately heard the community. They immediately heard what we said, and they said, okay, let's try something different. We want to make sure that this is a game that is played and predominantly skilled players win. And you can call that what you want, but in my opinion, that's not a rake trap. In my opinion, that is a game that people can play for money, and you can win money playing it. And if there's rake involved as well.
And you will prove it to make money, yeah? You will prove it on the stream.
That's the idea, yes.
Yeah, it's a good idea. There was another question from Pipan47.
Yeah.
What do you think about speed?
What do I think about what?
Speed.
Speed.
Speed. SPEED.
Speed. What, like the drug?
I don't know.
I think you might be making reference to Speed Poker, which I think was on iNetwork or something. It's the same as Zoom Poker, right?
Yeah, Speed Poker, right?
I think it's great. I had a really good run playing Speed Poker or Rush. It used to be called Rush. It was originally called Rush Poker on Full Tilt, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it's great. I think James was actually talking about there might be a potential that might be one of the ideas about making a cash game, is if you had a Zoom style, everybody gets sat at a three-handed table, and then everyone gets a random number of points, and they get a random number of random cards, and then you play a single hand, and then when you fold, it takes you immediately to another hand. And that might be one of the ways to try and create a cash game environment. But that's for another day. That's like, oh man, we could talk for years about that.
Yeah, Raccoon, the guy that asked you this question, said thanks for the answer about that.
You're very welcome, man.
Question there. Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're done with Power Up poker questions.
Okay.
For the most part here.
So are we getting into the dangerous questions now?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he meant about the game's duration compared with other games like Spin and Go. On average, games takes around 12 minutes to finish.
Right. So at the moment, we know that the average game time is around 10 to 15 minutes. And I know that probably in an ideal world, we would really like to see the game last about 10 minutes because people want a faster game, and especially if they're playing it on their phone. If you haven't played this on the phone, it looks awesome. This game was meant to be played on a phone, which is even better for the community as a whole, because the more people that are playing on phones, the larger the player pool, and also the weaker the player pool, because most of the time people who are playing on phones aren't really taking the game all that seriously, etc. I think that if they can tweak animation times, and if we can look at the structure maybe one more time and maybe take out a level or something like that. I love the structure right now. I'm not suggesting that we should change it.
Okay.
But I think that the game right now is maybe a little bit too long. It could come down a little bit, but the guys at the development team say that they can fix that with the animation time, so we'll have a look at that. I would also say that right now we have people who are 3 and 4 tabling this game. It looks like something that you can't multi-table, but the community has said absolutely not. So if you're looking to have a really good hourly and you take this game seriously, you absolutely can 2, 3, 4 table. Personally, I can only 2 table because I've never been good with multi-tables anyway. And
So
also when
off
I'm
stream as
streaming
well, 2 tables off stream.
off stream, I 2 table. On stream, I'm always 1 tabling because mostly the stream
Yeah,
is just to show the game off and just to talk about strategy on in general rather than to try and punish an hourly rate or
yeah,
whatever,
guys, you can learn for sure on the stream.
Yeah.
You talk a lot about the hands, right?
Yeah,
that's
well,
what I
I
saw.
and hopefully what I'm saying is helpful and not just bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. Of course. I mean, you prove it with the bankroll challenges, right? With the strategy
Hopefully,
and
yeah,
all that.
hopefully,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
That was always really important for me. Yeah,
That's important. You have, as I told you, like when we Skyped before that, you have to show that to the people, okay? You have to document the story of your
yeah,
bankroll
yeah.
challenge.
Right,
They
right,
have
right,
to see
right.
the beginning, the middle, and the end, okay?
I
That's
agree.
important.
I agree.
That's
I agree.
important.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Okay, James is saying it depends on your style of play also about the duration.
The speed.
Yeah, speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can push variants harder and use points more aggressively. James is saying.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. There are styles of play in Power Up, which is something that, I mean, we have styles of play in Hold'em, except also we have GTO in Hold'em. You know, we have a style of play which is pretty much optimal that we know
Okay.
we're not always getting it. But in this game, we're seeing like there's somebody that I play very frequently on the stream called Art that a lot of you will know about if you've watched the stream before. He's actually basically admitted to stream sniping us and all the other stuff, but we have a laugh about it because it's not that big of a deal, I guess. In my opinion, anyway. I'm going to get a lot of shit for saying that because a lot of people have a problem with it on my Discord.
Okay.
We are taking all of the necessary steps
Yeah.
to tell. Anyway, that's for another day. You guys don't shoot me for that, okay?
Okay.
But his style of play is like super hyper aggressive pre-flop, getting it in. And you know, when you're playing a game against him, it goes a lot faster because there's a lot more high variance plays. There's a lot more pre-flop all-ins. And the games tend to go faster. But if you have somebody who's a little bit more passive and a little bit more patient, yeah, the games do tend to go on a bit longer.
Okay. Question to me. Question tomorrow. Have you played this game yet? No, I haven't. The thing is now I have this big goal. As I said, I wanna be a poker vlogger. I wanna go to Vegas. I wanna travel in Australia, and so on and so on. That means you have to focus on one thing, and that's cash game basically. Okay. The problem is I have an MTT challenge as well. I can't quit this one because the rule is if I stop or don't continue with it, I have to quit streaming. Okay.
That's right. I remember you told me.
Yeah, so I will stream this challenge that I have, tournament challenge, once a week, okay? And I will take a break with the challenge next month because I have a busy semester. Yeah, so I will just focus more on cash games from now on. And I'm telling you now that that will happen, that I will travel and I will be there, and it will happen, yeah. Just to let you know, guys, I will vlog, I will travel, and so on and so on. People call me crazy because after my study, I will probably work a little bit to save money, and I will quit my full-time job, no matter what. You know, guys, sometimes you have to take this kind of risk in life, okay?
Hey man. Sometimes you got to pull the trigger, you know.
Yeah, you live just once. I don't want to get old and ask myself, what if? You know, that would hurt me. Don't regret anything in your life, okay? Just go for it. Yeah, that's what I can give you here. Okay. Okay.
Boom. Agree. OP Poker approved.
Yeah, thanks. Also, thanks for the donation on the stream.
Oh yeah, you're very welcome. I thought that we had such a good session on stream today. I thought I'd send you some love for doing such a good
Thanks
job
so much,
yourself.
man. Thanks.
And I think towards the end of your stream it wasn't going so great as well. So
Yeah, I lost a little bit today.
only a little bit though, no big
A
deal.
little bit, yeah. James asked me if they make Power Up cash game, you play it for sure, man. Everything in that stupid cash game, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about some other questions here.
Okay.
So, what do you do for a living, James? I want to say, Nick.
I play poker full time, but I also have another job. I work with a couple guys on a freelance basis building websites. And yeah, I mean, for me, there was a time in my life, especially when I was living with James a lot.
Okay.
I was playing poker, and I've always been a grinder. You know, back then I wasn't as successful as I am now, maybe, but I was grinding it, and I really wanted to play poker so bad, and I just wanted to like make it in poker. And I was
Okay.
Me and James, for a while, me and James actually lived in Thailand with a group of poker players out there, which we might talk about a bit later, I guess.
Yes.
But like me and James, I was like waking up, grinding all day, all day, and then going out all night, and then sleeping, and then waking,
Spinning ghost?
and it was, no, at the time I was just playing cash games. That was really, really early on in my poker career.
Okay.
That was even before spinning ghost was a thing,
Okay.
that wasn't even a real thing back then. But
How long are you poker pro? Sorry if you ask.
sorry.
So how long are you poker pro now? For how long?
I'd say for 2 or 3 years,
Okay.
officially.
Okay.
I'm always really hesitant to use the term poker pro
Yeah.
because I've known so many like poker pros in my life,
Everyone calls
and
himself a poker pro.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and
It's
it and
crazy.
it, and it goes from like oh, I'm a poker pro, but the guy is completely broke, and then I'm like, and then the people that are actually poker pros never say that they're poker pros. I'm really hesitant to use that
Okay.
because it's been a primary source of income in my life for many years. But like basically all of that grinding, at some point I realized that I was kind of always taking and I was never really giving back. And I found this really good balance that I'm living right now where
Yeah.
I do like 1 or 2 days. Like at the moment, I'm actually doing a little bit less, but I do 1 or 2 days a week working with this company. And the stuff that we make is awesome. And I love building websites.
Okay.
And it feels really good to go and do something that isn't poker, even for a couple hours every week. And for me, that keeps me balanced, and that keeps me feeling like I'm not a complete degenerate like my mom thinks.
Okay. All right.
So,
Next question is also for James. For you
yeah.
and James.
Okay.
Okay. So which kind of advices would you give to someone that wants to pursue his dream and become a poker pro?
And become a poker
James,
pro.
that question is also for you.
Okay. Okay. So I guess I'll go first since I'm on camera.
Yes.
I would say teach yourself, how do I say this? Teach yourself to hate bad play, not bad luck.
Okay.
So people have seen on stream, I don't have expert tilt control. I'm not a super Zen master. I probably tilt more than the average person. It's just something that I need to improve on.
I
Mental
gave
game.
you that book. Remember that book
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
gave
yeah.
you?
No, no, no,
Read
no.
that.
I've already ordered it. It's on its way. And so basically, what that means is, for the most part, when I tilt, which is something I need to improve on,
Yeah.
I'm never tilting as a result of, or I'm very rarely tilting about something that's happened bad against me. It's always because I know that probably I played really bad myself. So I finish the session and I'm like so angry, and I'm like, why are you so angry? And then when I think about why I'm angry, I'm like, well, nobody else did anything wrong. It was me making all the mistakes, and I'm really critical of myself, which probably comes from all those years of blogging, because at the end of each week, I would have to write about what happened that week, even if it was bad, even if it was good. So you become super critical. And I think that's the best way to improve. You need to have standards for yourself. You need to have high standards for your own success, and you need to take ownership of the bullshit that you put yourself through. So if you have a really bad session, you need to be able to look at yourself and go, it was my fault. The reason it was bad, what was my fault? I would also say that you should make a bankroll management plan and always stick to it. Always. Too many people I know just start playing poker and then they never keep track of how much they're winning or losing, and they don't have any idea about the comings and goings of any of their finances. And then before you know it, it becomes a problem, and poker becomes a problem. And they're like, oh, I'm always running so bad. I can't believe it. And you're like, well, what did you play last month? And they said, oh, I played like 2 high rollers and it was like $2,000 each. And I'm like, your bankroll is $4,000, man. What are you doing? That's 2 buy-ins. And
Yeah.
it's like the most high, you're playing against like the best players in the world. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, you have to
Something
learn
else.
so many other skills, right, which are not poker
Yeah,
related.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. It's kind of learning to manage yourself, and being your own. It's like being your own boss. It's not for everybody. It's not easy. I would also say you should teach yourself to learn to find soft games. This is something that we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Game selection is really important. Now, game selection is a word that people use a lot online,
Yeah,
and game
but
selection for a long time was really important because you could use third-party softwares to actually help you find soft games.
the thing is, these are different times in poker.
They are. Except I can elaborate on that a little bit. For example, I have a friend who travels a lot in Asia, and he plays live poker. He doesn't play online very much.
In
And
Asia,
for
he plays
him,
poker.
he plays poker in Asia. He travels all around Southeast Asia. He spends a lot of time in Thailand and in Bangkok and in Macau and all these other places. And for him, game selection isn't just like I'm looking at the average pot size and being a machine. For him, it's like cultivating good relationships with people who are bad at poker as well. And
Be
I
nice to the
respect
fish, guys. Be nice
well,
to the fish.
he always jokes about this, but whenever I text him and I'm like, hey, where are you? He's like, I'm in Macau. Like I just woke up. Like, fuck off. Why are you texting me? He's like, yeah, I'm doing some networking later on today. I'm like, networking? What do you mean? He's like, I'm going to a bar with some guys that want to play poker. And I'm like, oh, geez, here we go. And for me, that is equally as valid as people who are good at spotting online games, you know?
Can you play also in Thailand live cash games? Yes, yeah.
You can, except playing
We talked
poker,
about that. We talked
playing
about
poker
that.
in Thailand
Yes,
is
yes,
illegal.
yes.
When
But
me
they
and James
accepted it somehow. Yes, yes,
yeah,
I remember.
when James and I were living in Thailand, we got invited to play in a live game that was supposed to be completely
But
lit.
one
It was
second,
supposed to be,
one second,
yeah.
because James said,
Okay.
watch other winning players streaming. Make sure they are winning. Okay. Try to guess the players' actions before they make it, and see if their plans are similar. If not, you still have some work to do. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing,
Yeah.
man.
That's a
So
really good idea. And I think if you're playing a game like Texas Hold'em as well, good players will tend to have the same actions, you know? So in Power Up, people have different lines. They like to play different styles. So maybe that's not so good, but you can, whatever. In Texas Hold'em, I think James is absolutely right. For the most part, good players will tend to do the same things.
So I will let's say I will watch coaching videos now, and before they make a move, I will pause the video and I will think
Yeah.
about what his move should be, the best move, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys,
And then
that's advice.
and then if you're streaming, if you're watching a stream and you are doing 90% of what that guy is doing, and you know he's a winning player, then you're like, cool. Now I'm gonna go play some poker, and hopefully you feel energized to crush yourself.
And discuss and surround yourself in groups of winning players. Yeah, I always say that. Be careful and make sure who you surround yourself with. You don't know how big of an impact it has on you, really. Your surroundings. You don't imagine, really.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of toxic environments, and then even besides that, you surround yourself with bad players, and then you start thinking the way that they're thinking,
Yeah,
and you start.
even with normal people, because you want to become a poker pro, you have big goals, okay, you have big dreams in life, and you don't want to hang around with normal people because they don't have dreams or goals, okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't
that's true.
understand your goal or don't understand poker even. Yeah, let's say it like
Yeah.
that.
For some people, it's really easy just to have a job.
Yes, yes.
And I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that at all,
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people they just have a normal job, but they have goals, outside of work that they love to do, and they have hobbies, and they're killing it themselves, and they're like amazing human beings. But other people just want to to know,
Yeah,
just
surround
float,
yourself with the right people and you get motivated. You get inspired to become a
OP
poker pro.
approved. OP approved.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So how is your daily life looking like for the most part?
Okay, so basically at the moment, because I'm so involved with OP Poker, I wake up, I'll have some breakfast. If I don't forget about it, I always forget breakfast. I don't know, I just don't get hungry. I always check in with James and Ava at right at the start of the day and
Okay.
see if they have any news, if they've spoken to anybody, if there's some crisis that we have to handle, if we have to ban somebody from our Discord because they're being a jerk. I then immediately after that, I always check in with my Discord homies. I see what they're up to, and then I comment on people who have asked me questions, and I have funny reactions to people who have said funny things. Then I tend to set up social media. Ava does the majority of the social media
Yeah.
for us, and she's really great with that. But I do some of my personal social media bits and pieces. I look to see if there's any videos that need to be made. I go and check out the stream numbers and see what the stream numbers look like from the day before. Another thing that I tend to do as well is I will post the video to be played the next day, so I'll get that online at some point. So if we have a stream on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I'll wake up and make sure that the stream from the day before is going to get played. That's really important for me.
Okay.
I always want to play a little bit of Power Up every day just to make sure that I feel like I'm still in the zone and I'm still focused on it. And since we've been doing this project, I'm playing less and less other poker, and it's really helping because you have to be in such a different mindset, and as soon as you break your focus, it's hard to get back into the flow. I know that if Maya's watching, she feels the same way. I have some lunch. Usually I stream.
Okay.
I try and go for a run. I'm not much of a runner, but I'm trying to exercise more as I'm getting a bit older. Have some dinner and then repeat.
Okay. James also said, always challenge and push yourself. Play the regs that owns you. And
Yeah,
analyze
and
it later.
Except I will say to James in this occasion, James is absolutely right. If you play good players and you force yourself to beat them, you become better. Don't fall into James's boat when he ended up always playing the best regs in the world for high, and he can tell you that story himself someday maybe, but the he was killing the game, and he had a bad day one time. But I'll leave that up to James to tell that story. It's a fucking good one. It's a really, really good story.
Anu is asking, Nick, you want to talk about the power up emojis which Ava created?
Yeah, boom. Okay, also Anuj, another one of our absolutely key members. He's also our first ever unofficial moderator, or he's an official moderator, but what I mean by that, he's not a part of the core team. Anuj is the bomb. He's been with us since day one. I love that guy. Shout out to Anuj. But yeah, we have a whole bunch of incredible emojis that are over on Discord. And on Discord, you can make as many as you want. But on Twitch, you can only have one, or if you're an affiliate, and then if you're a partner, you can have loads more. There are so many amazing, amazing emojis that need to come across that Ava has made. So the faster that we become partner, the better, because those emojis are funny as fuck. They're so, so good.
Okay. All right. So you talked about cash game in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Story. Let's talk about that one. Guys, you want to hear a funny story? Let's go, Nick.
All right. So basically, me and James, we were playing a lot of poker together, and I said to him, "Look, we knew these guys who were living out in Thailand, and they were living like this baller lifestyle. This house, you guys, I'm telling you, they had this huge mansion all to themselves. There were 4 guys, right? They had house cleaners, they had maids, they had girlfriends, all this jazz. The house was amazing. They had a pool, they had a basketball court.
Okay.
They all had scooters. They were living in Chiang Mai. Anyway, they said to me, "Look, if you guys want to come and live out here with us, just let us know, blah, blah, blah." So me and James decided that we were going to go out to Thailand. We decided like in one day. Like James was like, "Should we go?" And I was like, "You want to go?" And he's like, "Yeah, when do you want to go?" I said, "How about tomorrow?" So we booked a flight the next day and we went to Thailand. Me and James were living out there with these guys. It was like a really, really cool environment to be living in, and we were super young and having a fun time. And we started hearing about these cash games that are going on in Chiang Mai. And they're like, yeah, the guys are like, "Oh man, the action is so good. It's totally legit." But obviously playing poker in Thailand is illegal. And the more that we were hearing about this, the more we were like, "Hey, should we check it out? Maybe it's going to be cool. I don't know."
One second, Nick.
Yeah, sorry.
Because Raccoon is asking, Twitch partner is something different. You can subscribe to them, right? So people, you can go ahead, subscribe to OP Poker, as you can do on my channel as well. But becoming a Twitch partner is something different. It takes some time, yeah?
So at the moment, we tick all the boxes to become a partner, except we just need to have 75 average viewers per session or something like that.
Raccoon, maybe you remember Kalencho, for example. It took him also some time. He's also a good streamer, big streamer.
Yeah.
Becoming a Twitch partner takes some time for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then you make a little bit more money from Twitch, but not much more. And we've only been streaming for 4 or 5 months, like since November or something like that. So yeah, we're still pretty young to have made affiliate, but hopefully we'll get there as well.
Okay, let's go back to the story.
So anyway, so we're hearing good things about this game, and me and him are talking about like taking part in it, and then we discovered that it's actually run by the police. So we're like, "Oh, okay, cool." So it's totally above. Like the reason that everyone thought it was so legit is because it's run by the police. So you're not going to get arrested by the guys that are running the game. But then we were hearing some horror stories like this guy won too much money, and then the police were like blackmailing him.
Okay.
And this is the kind of crazy shit that goes on in Thailand. I mean, we had a bunch of other crazy stories that are probably
poker in Thailand, guys.
So, yeah. Living in Thailand and playing online poker, awesome. Great. It's a really great lifestyle. You can have a really good lifestyle out there if that's what you're up for.
It's cheap.
It's very cheap and it's very beautiful, and you can have a lot of fun. Me and James had some pretty crazy times. But don't play in the cop run games. You will get blackmailed. You will get beaten. It will not be fun.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right. Let's talk about some other stuff here about you. Let's talk about your greatest strengths and weaknesses. What are they?
My greatest strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
Okay, my greatest weakness 100% is my mental game. This is something that we as a team talk about a lot because mental game isn't just about poker. Mental game is about everything in life.
Yes.
It's having a good mentality and having a strong idea of what you want to do and having conviction and not wimping out because you can't be bothered and all that. That's something that I need to work on as a human being in general, and it spills over into poker as well. Sometimes I go through periods where I completely crush poker and I have no obstacles, And then sometimes I get really like frustrated on a stupid day, and it's just like so inconsequential. And that's something that I really need to improve on. Something that I feel like I'm really good at
Yeah.
doing is this goes back to the blogging. I feel like when I'm writing blogs, I'm really
You
good
are
at
consistent.
looking, I'm really good at looking inward and being like, this is good, this is bad, this is good. And for some reason, when I type, it's easier for me to externalize my strengths and weaknesses. And then when I finish writing a blog, I don't even care if anybody reads it or not. It could be for nobody at all. After I read it through a couple times after I finish writing it, and I kind of go, oh, okay, cool, and I take stock of what's going on. And I think that's a really
Cool.
powerful attribute to have. And a lot of people don't have that. So I feel very grateful that I can do that
Yeah.
for myself.
Cool. But about Nick's weakness, guys, there's a super book out there, my favorite one. It helped me so much. It improves. I mean, I read a lot of mindset poker books, strategy articles about poker mindset. They help you for a little bit for sure. But that one book is from Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. It boosts you into something different. I swear to
Yeah,
God.
I've actually ordered it already. I've heard really
Yeah.
good things about it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I've ordered it. So
that
I'm
book, guys. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. It's a crazy one. I swear to God. Uh, it will be something different after that for sure.
yeah.
So get that one. Eva saying strength. Nick is fantastic with streaming and engaging audience for sure.
Well, I don't want to say that myself because I want Ava to say that for me. No, not really. I'm just kidding.
Raccoon is saying, are you sharing your life with somebody? Sounds like you have a totally full schedule, Nick.
Sorry, what was the question?
You sharing your life with somebody?
Am I sharing my life with somebody? I have a wonderful girlfriend
Raccoon,
who I
he
live
has a
with.
German girlfriend.
I
He's
have
from
a German
Germany.
girlfriend,
Yeah,
so
we have Germans.
yeah, my German needs some improve. That's another thing I need to work on my German a little
Yeah,
bit as well. But also as a team, I feel like we have really complementary skills, and I feel like when James and I started doing this project, especially, I knew that James was a poker genius, and I knew that I would be able to manage digital media and digital marketing really well.
hmm
Hadn't even considered that much like Ava being in the mix. That's not to say anything bad about Ava. It was more just like I wasn't even sure if she'd be interested in being a part of it. But there's no way we could have done what we've done now without Ava. She has been like amazing. The skills that she didn't have, she's learned and she's become better at that. And I'm actually like for most things in my life, I really want to just do it myself, and I just want to like I want to have like full control. And I've had to learn to let go a little bit of that because I can't be we can't manage everything. But as a team now, like OP Poker could not be what it was without Ava and James and me. And
yeah,
I feel really lucky because when I started this, I was like, yeah, I've got this down. I got this managed. It's all me and whatever. But yeah, I just lucked out. I've got a pretty good support structure around me. So
yeah.
shout out to those
The
guys.
pictures that she creates, they are dope. Eva,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Eva,
yeah.
much respect.
Uh,
Really, that's
me
crazy.
and excuse me and Ava alternate between the pictures because it's so much fun to make some of those.
That
So
podcast picture from yesterday on Twitter,
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
took
Yeah.
inspiration from that. So
That's
I
dope,
will
right?
have
Yeah.
I will have some new pictures
Yeah,
based on
yeah.
that. Man, it's crazy.
You can usually spot the ones that I've done because it's the ones where it's like like James's head on another
Yeah.
body. I don't know why. I make those and I laugh to myself for hours. Like I'm just like laugh and I'm sending them to everybody I know. It's kind of embarrassing, but yeah.
Big Papa saying Power of Now plus Master Key System from Charles F. Hunnell. I think I have that one. That audiobook, the Master Key System. Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that.
I've
Yeah,
heard of
it's
that too.
inspirational. Eva likes your words. And Anish is saying Eva is OP. OG, I would say.
Ava is
OG.
OP, and
OG.
also it's because it's not Women's Day today.
Yeah, that's true.
I also find it amazing that Ava has so much strength because in the poker community it's predominantly male. It's male dominated,
hmm
and I feel like Ava is subject to like really really brutal but subtle
Yes.
racism
She's.
and not racism, sexism, excuse me. And like I really admire that she can like hold her ground in these situations because we've had a couple really nasty people join our Discord,
Oh,
and the kind of
yeah, it
things that they
happens.
say to her
That
and then the
happens.
kind of things that they say to me and James,
Yeah,
it's like guys, you need to get your shit together here, man. You
yeah.
can't be treating women like this.
That's people. That's how some people
That
are.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And we got thick skin, so we'll be okay. But shout out to Ava for putting up with casual sexism.
I mean, we all Twitch streamers, we get them trolls, the haters, right? It happens.
Right,
It's
right,
crazy.
right.
When I also look at some YouTube channels of the poker streamers, the comments, It's like people. Okay, it's a topic for itself, right? Maybe we should talk about that
Right.
stuff in the next podcast.
Podcast
Okay,
podcast two, just about
podcast.
trolls.
Yes. No, about people in general, life improvement, self development, right? You can talk about that stuff as well because that helps
yeah.
your game, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about your toughest time in your life that you had, and what did you learn of that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we get into the deep
I'm not,
questions now. Like,
I'm not sure how deep I want to get in this. What was the toughest time of my life? Um,
and what did you learn from it?
uh, huh. Well, a couple years ago, I was at work. I went to work and I was kind of like an invincible 23-year-old, 20, I was a young man, not
Okay.
caring about anything in the world. And I had some kind of an episode. We're not exactly sure what happened at work, but I kind of lost consciousness. Something very weird happened with me.
Okay.
And as a result of that, I started to have really, really bad problems with anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's definitely been the hardest thing. It's something that I struggle with a little bit now, even now. But what have I learned from that? I've learned that I think I've learned a lot about, you need to manage your own. You need to manage your own emotions. You need to manage your own expectations. You need to take ownership of when you're being a dick and take ownerships of when you're being a nice human being. And you need to be kind to people who have these kinds of problems. I never had any appreciation for people who had mental mental health problems like that, but I discovered it in the worst way possible because I really, really suffered for a long time. And now I'm feeling so much better. And I feel like without that, I probably wouldn't be so driven to make projects like this such a reality. Because for me, making OP Poker a big success
Mm-hmm.
is a really clear way for me to
Okay.
like achieve something very big in my life. And it's the culmination of many years of playing poker and wanting to be, affiliated with a poker company. I think a lot of poker players, their goal is to be affiliated with a poker company. So if I can make that a reality, I feel like that would be the culmination and maybe the end of what has been a really tough couple of years with mental health and stuff like that. But yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully, big things to come.
Yeah. I can see some new people here. Guys, we are almost done with the podcast here, but if you want to see the beginning again, we talked a lot about Power Up Poker and so on. You can find it afterwards here on my Twitch channel and also tomorrow on my YouTube channel. Okay, so make sure to check that out, and we will definitely have a second podcast in the future again. Right?
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So next question is, let's talk about the happiest moment in your life. What was that? The happiest moment.
The happiest moment in my life. Oh man, this is such a loaded question, isn't it? Like, there's not going to be any, there's not going to be a right answer for this.
Yeah.
The happiest moment of my life.
One of them.
The
Pick one of
happiest,
them. Pick one of them.
uh, the happiest moments of my life. Oh, I don't know. This is not a good one. That's a really loaded question. The happiest moments of my life were the collective births of my brothers and sisters. And I think one of my earliest memories is probably my sister being born, my sister Ashley being
Mm-hmm.
born. And I was like there like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Like you just had a baby. That's wild. That's probably, yeah, I think those are probably my happiest memories. And of course, my brother Josh, shout out to Josh. And of course, my brother Dylan, who lives in the United Kingdom in Cardiff. If you're watching, I love you very much.
I was just saying when you hit the 1000x multiplier.
That you know what compared to the birth of my siblings, zero, absolute zero.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty good day too.
Okay.
You know, that didn't even cross my mind. I don't know if that's a good thing about me or a bad thing about me, but yeah.
Okay. The next question is, so imagine you could time travel, okay? Where would you go? Future, past, and why? Which year? Let's say.
So
Yeah.
am I allowed to come back?
Yeah, James said you should be a politician. Or whom? Nick?
Who, me?
Yeah. Yeah, you can come back just to look at it. Of course, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You can
okay. So I
travel.
can't like I can't live there.
Yes, it's just for looking,
Okay, just for oh, okay. Well,
or
I
just
would probably
experience it and live a little bit there. Okay, and so
I
on.
okay. Okay, so if I could go back and live, I would probably want to go back to like the 1920s because it looked like they had the fucking best parties. You know, like what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? Uh
That
somebody help me in chat.
I think I know which movie you're talking about.
But it's about like the guy who lives in the big house and he has these like wild parties. Everything about the 1920s just looked like it was totally lit, and it was like before the Great Depression and all that stuff. So it was just like everybody was like had money, everybody was partying. 1920s America, I think would be really cool to go and live in. If I could go back and just like look and just learn, I would go back probably to when they invented Bitcoin, and I'd spend like $20 buying a billion Bitcoin. That would be pretty cool as well.
No, Cash, not
And
Titanic, not Titanic.
not Titanic, no. Okay,
Cashy.
Okay, if somebody in
Great
chat could help
Gatsby.
me here,
Great
the Great
Gatsby.
Gatsby, the Great
Yeah.
Gatsby. Thank
Eva
you,
said it.
thank you.
Eva said it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cashy.
Yeah. The Great Gatsby. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, it just looked like they're all just drinking champagne and they're all like, partying and it looks like it was a pretty cool time.
Okay, let's also ask James and Eva. Where
Okay,
would
good
you
good idea.
which yeah would you choose, guys?
I'm
Eva and
really
James. If you could time travel.
there's a chance that I might have stolen Ava's answer there, but
Okay. we'll see. We'll see what they say about it. If I would say I would travel into like I don't know like in the future, 100 years or 200 years. But it's a little bit scary to say that. Yeah.
well, I was gonna say I
Two
think
hundred
probably
years is super scary.
it's either gonna be like, whoa, we're the best, or it's gonna be like, whoa, we're the worst.
We're dead probably. 200 years. Who knows, right?
Probably.
Who
I mean,
knows?
if Elon Musk has anything to say about it, we'll be in space, so that'd be kind of cool.
Ava, that's the best answer. I'm happy where I am now.
Oh wow.
That's
Yeah,
it.
she's never actually her happiest moment is watching me on this podcast right now. This very instant.
James in the Wild West. It's also good. Gambler.
Oh yeah, you get shot up. Yeah, James, you would be instantly dead. You'd win too much and they'd just kill you.
You would play five card draw, right? That was
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
okay.
Yeah, you play five card.
Poker.
James would like go to one town, he'd win everybody's money, and then he'd wind up dead.
You never know what happens. Okay. How much is your average buy-in? They play the 15s, Shanatron.
Yeah, yeah, we played the 15s. But before me and James decided to start OP Poker, we were playing $10, $20, $30, $50 heads up hypers. So very, very fast paced. The average hyper game lasts about 5 minutes. It's usually about 10 hands a game or something like that. And we were playing, yeah, the $30 and the $50 games, so pretty high stakes.
Raccoon is saying you should read the book from Scott Fitzgerald. Movies never can picture what classic literature does. You know this book?
No, I don't know that book, but
Okay.
is it something to do with my reference to the 1920s?
Okay. Yeah, Raccoon, let us know. uh, Alright. So let's talk about some celebrities, some role models. Name me your three favorites that you look
My
up to.
my three favorite celebrities.
Yeah, not celebrities.
Uh,
Just let's say like people or person that you look up to, that you
okay.
admire, that you see
Uh,
as role models.
I look up to Phil Ivey. I think Phil Ivey is just like such a hero. The guy is just like the best, and he's so cool. And there's very little drama surrounding him. I love the fact that he managed to rip off that casino in London, the one where they sued him for all of his winnings, and then he won the case. And like I love the fact that the casino was so bold. They were like, yeah, you can have whatever you want. We'll give you fake decks, and we'll like you can have your friend there, and you can play whatever stakes you want, and you can play for as long as all that stuff. I love stories of people who took on the house and won. So I think he's really cool, and I think he's an amazing poker player. So Phil Ivey for sure. Elon Musk is incredible, and I know that a lot of people. I'm not saying he's like the nicest guy ever or he's the best guy ever, but I think what he's doing is really, really admirable, and I think he's taking risks for humanity at like absolute suicidal risk of himself. I was listening to his autobiography recently, and the stuff that this guy did is like borderline criminal. Like when he was starting out his businesses, business partners at the time were saying he was like promising products to one person, and he didn't even have the money to make the products and he had to wait for a round of funding, and there was always this juggling act with him, and that was the way he managed to like make so much money. But he seems like a pretty good guy. Other people I look up to, James McKenzie is an amazing poker player. I really look up to James.
Mr. James. Okay.
Mr. James McKenzie.
Yeah, I could refer to that movie. I think that was the Great Gatsby.
Right.
Gatsby.
Yeah.
Was written in the mid-20s. That.
That's
Was
right.
that something novel or what was it? It's a novel originally. Or what?
Yeah. The Great Gatsby was originally a novel. Yeah, I knew that, by the way, guys. Whenever I think of the parties, I think of Leonardo DiCaprio holding up the meme where he's holding the wine glass, or he's holding the champagne. What do they call it? Champagne goblet. Like the champagne ones that go like this. They're like big cups instead of being flutes. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Shannon, Ivy was like me, bro. 16. Ivy started at 16 playing in the casinos, right? There was something with Ivy. He wasn't even 18 or 21, right? I don't know. He was 18, I think. And you're allowed to play in the casinos when you're 21 in the US, right?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know when that changed or if that changed at all, but 21 is like in Vegas. If you're not 21, you can't do anything. And in America, they're quite strict about that kind of stuff as well.
They check your IDs, no matter what.
Yeah,
they
right.
Check you. They check you. What is it, for the link? Let me click on it. Images. Let me see. Yeah. Well, Leonardo DiCaprio holds this wine glass there. I can see it. Guys, click on that link in the chat.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, she knows the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Ivy was 16 with fake ID. Shanatron is saying. Okay. Interesting.
So awesome. Yeah. I love stories like that. I think that's really cool.
Okay.
I should give a shout out to Chris Mormon as well. I've been lucky enough to meet Chris on a couple occasions. We went out drinking sometimes. Cool. Chris Mormon is the most successful online poker tournament player ever. The guy is like a total killer, man. He's an absolute killer.
What do you think? Is it that these guys are doing different compared to us? What is it? Or James, you can answer that.
It's a good question, but I think probably it has something to do with having really, really solid fundamentals, having really, really solid like solutions, so they simplify a lot of the decision making that a lot of us worry about too much,
Okay, they have it. Let's say they have it, yeah? But we can also work towards that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think also it has something to do with volume as well, These guys
they work more than we do.
Yeah,
right?
so like, everybody's always like, oh, these guys, like, they're always winning these big tournaments, but then you're like, they're playing 12 hours a day every day. They're playing every tournament that they can get their hands on that they think is value. And they're putting in the work, and that's what a lot of people don't want to accept about playing poker professionally. They think it's an easy way to make a living. I think Amarillo Slim said it's a hard way to make an easy living. Playing poker professionally is a hard way to make an easy living for sure. It's not all rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah, my goal is basically to make live poker is easier, right? Even 2-5 is, I think, in the right casinos soft to make money and then like, let's say if I saved 100k, okay, let's say it like that. I'm not sure. But then I want to invest in something else and be my own boss,
Yeah, man, for real. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good way to go about it.
With cash games.
Yeah, it's nice to have a goal in mind of how much money you want to make as well, and something that's not too crazy. I want to make 100k and then I'll put some aside for whatever.
Yeah, James said something good here. Top players are always the obsessed ones. Yes, guys, you have to eat, sleep, and breathe it. And you have to think about it 24/7.
Yeah. I think me and you spoke about this a bit last time, Mo, as well.
Yes.
We were saying like, for me, I always wanted to play poker because I wanted to be good at poker. It was never about money. It was never like, I'm going to make $1 million today. And everybody that I meet, they're like, hey, can you teach me how to play poker? I'm like, yeah. Like, why do you want to play? And they go, oh, I want to make $500 a day. And like, and I'm like, that's nobody that makes $500 a day sits down and goes, did I make $500 today? Did I make $500 today? You know what I mean? They just want to be amazing and they just want to be really good at the game.
Yeah.
And, I could certainly be a lot better, but
Conor McGregor has a good quote about that obsessed thing. It's here on my vision board. I can read for you guys. It says there's no talent here. This is hard work. This is an obsession. Talent does not exist. We are all equal as human beings. You could be anyone if you put in the time. You will reach the top, and that's that. I'm not talented. I'm obsessed. So
Conor McGregor, man, what a champ, man.
the man of the man. Yeah.
The guy is a serious beast.
And I have also another quote here. It's my favorite one. I put my picture on it because it's my favorite one. It says, "Fuck talent. Fuck being gifted. Fuck having shit given to you. All you need is you, your time, your devotion, and you can beat any self-entitled talent out there. So work hard. Be crazy about it. Be obsessed, right?"
There's one that me and James have said for ages. Did you ever see those animated YouTube videos called the micros?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, if you have, okay, first of all, if you haven't seen the micros, take some time and watch the micros. Just type in the micros on it's like this stupid animated stories about this group of poker players who are all playing online poker. And there's this awesome bit where he's like, "Hey, good luck out there, buddy." And he goes, "No way, luck is for pussies." And I mean, me and James would always say that to each other. I thought that was really cool.
Send the link later, okay? If you
okay, I will.
Later, okay.
I mean, oh man, I like the idea that luck is for pussies as well. You know, when I go into a poker tournament or something, I'm like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, James
fuck
saying,
luck.
watch the micros. James saying.
Yeah, you have. If you haven't seen the
okay,
micros,
and Nick will tell me the link later. Yes.
You're not even a real poker player until you've seen the micros. It's so funny.
Okay, all right. So let's get into the last question. Mo reading your own quote from the card in the back, bro. Love it. It's not my own quote. These are my favorite quotes. I think you should just stop the stream and play it.
I mean, if you want, I could we can get it up now, and I can share my screen.
You can share.
Here
your
you
screen?
go. Anyway, I can't remember. I can't remember.
Let's do it at the end, okay? Let's do it at the end. Let's do it at the end.
Okay.
Okay, let's get to the last questions here because we're almost done, and then we can watch that stuff. So, What was the best piece of advice that you have received in your life?
Oh man.
These are deeper questions are coming, okay?
Oh man. What was the best piece of advice? Oh geez. Don't play roulette.
Okay.
Best piece of advice anyone's ever given me, and it's never steered me wrong. There you go. No, that's probably not the best piece of advice anyone's ever given me.
One. Okay.
I mean, no, and it's a good one for anybody out there who wants to spend time in casinos, because when you're waiting around for tournaments, sometimes you're like, oh, I could just play a little bit of roulette or a little bit of blackjack, and it usually ends in tears, so it's probably not worth it. I can't think of anything on the spot right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, chat. I read all your comments here. No worries. I see it. I see everything here. Okay. So let's talk about your 3 favorite books. What are they?
My 3 favorite books. Number 1, The Zen of Poker. It's a book that's based on a classical piece of literature called The Zen of Archery. And Zen, if you don't know what that is, it's the idea that when you are doing something very methodically, if it's something that you just do supernaturally, you can be like amazing at it without having to think about it, without having to do it. So it's kind of like muscle memory or something like that. If you are in the Zen of poker, you're just playing amazing, and you're not overthinking about hands. You're not complicating your mind with these concepts like, maybe I should be cold 4-betting here, this guy, and you're not thinking about it too much. You're just doing it, and you just see it happen. And I think when I play live poker, sometimes I find myself falling into that rhythm, and I just know instinctively what to do because it's just something I've done so frequently. And reading that book is like, it's kind of like a prayer, because it's quite a short book. You can just sit down and read it in like a day or, a couple hours or something. Reading that book, you just come out from it feeling like, whoa, yeah, this is such a cool idea. It doesn't always go that way, but that's a good one.
Okay. I'll make a note of it. Zen of Poker.
Zen of Poker. Oh, it's a great read. It's really, really good.
Okay.
The Art of War by Sun Tzu
I read
is very
that one.
popular.
Guys, The Art of War. Stephen Pressfield?
What's that?
No, so was Stephen Pressfield? No.
It's a book written by somebody called Sun Tzu in in an ancient, but it might have been read by somebody because there's lots of people who have done audio. I've got it on audiobook, and there's a lot of weird stories and like weird tales. But if you listen to it, it's really not even about war. It's about everything, And there's one of the famous opening quotes is, "All warfare is based on deception." And so people draw a lot of similarities between the art of war and poker, because there are so many things. There's another bit that's like when your opponent thinks that when your enemy thinks that you cannot attack, you must attack. When your enemy thinks that you are about to attack, you should retreat. And there's all of these weird little metaphorical. I had a version of it once that had loads of these really, really cool stories that went with it that were all written around the same time in that region of the world. I can't remember. Is it Japanese? Is that really bad that I don't know? I think it's Japanese. It could be Chinese also. That's really bad. I apologize, but I love that book.
Zen
You
of
guys should
Art
check
was
it out.
by Larry Phillips, right? Because Big Papa asked Larry
The,
Phillips.
the Zen of
Yeah.
Poker. I'm not sure who it was written by,
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah.
Just Google it, guys. Will you? Easy to find
Um,
it. Uh,
and
the third one.
what's the third one? What is the third one? I guess since we're doing poker stuff, the third one is probably
General favorite three books. Okay. General.
um, I think okay. I guess my third favorite book would be the Mental Game of Poker.
Okay.
I quite like that. I quite like that one, but that's kind of a self-help book. That's not really it's
Hmm.
not really a book that you say you love, but I quite enjoyed reading that. And correct me if I'm wrong, James. We've recently had a chat with one of the authors of that book, right? Or a contributor to that book.
Sun Tzu was Chinese. Raccoon is
Sun Tzu
saying.
was Chinese. Yeah, correct. And actually, I immediately knew that it was Chinese. I don't know why I was thinking it was Japanese. That's stupid. Because it was during all the different dynasties. And oh man, there's so much amazing, rich history coming from China.
Okay.
But yeah, awesome.
Alex Gross Poker is here. Alex Gross, my buddy. Hey, what's up?
Oh,
Then
Alex,
Alex comes always at the end. Alex was is wrong.
that's
He's
okay.
my coach. He's my coach.
Right.
We'll do a coaching stream every second Wednesday on his channel, Cash Game. He's the coach of my Cash Game challenge that I'm playing.
Cool.
Yeah, always here at the end. I had my. You watched the podcast. I sent you the link, right? If you remember. With him.
Yep. 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 No, I remember.
Yeah. All right, Alex, man, always at the end. Okay, guys. As I said, if you missed the beginning, the middle, or whatever, just go ahead and check it out on my Twitch channel or tomorrow on my YouTube channel. You can find the whole podcast there. Hey, Gamble, what's popping in, homie? He's asking you, Alex.
What's up, man? What's up? What's up?
And James, yeah, editor and contributor Barry Carter, legend journalist.
That's right. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
We recently had a couple emails back and forth from Barry Carter, who was a contributor to the book, The Mental Game of Poker, and I was kind of geeking about that because I've got the audiobook of that game as well, and a lot of it is read by him.
Okay. Ava, can you post the Discord link again and your homepage and so on? Some of your links, because we're about to finish the podcast here, and I can see some new faces here in the chat. Just some of your links, guys. Join the Discord. It's super active. I see it every day. The Discord. And when do you stream again?
Okay, guys, we stream every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 o'clock p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, every week. But we also usually do a third stream on one of the random Mondays, Wednesdays, or Fridays, or Saturdays sometimes. If you sign up to our Instagram, our Twitter, or our Discord, you'll be notified anytime that we go live, including the scheduled times, including the off-schedule times. You'll also be notified of strategy articles, news articles, opinion pieces, all the other good stuff. If we're doing something, you'll hear about it on our social media. So if you want to be alerted, make sure you sign up to those.
James saying if you want to watch the Micros first episode with commentary, please.
With commenting.
It's so funny.
Well, okay. So
No,
like,
not yet, not yet. I have
Okay.
3 questions left, and
Okay.
then we will do it. Okay.
all right, man.
Okay. So let's get into some serious stuff here. So imagine, Nick, this would be our very last conversation. Okay, just imagine you would never meet again.
Yeah.
Which kind of advices would you give me? So what would you say to me then?
Oh,
You love this stuff, right?
what kind
Life
of
advice.
advice?
So let's say we don't meet again. It's the last
Oh,
time
okay.
we
So
talk.
no, okay. I thought you were saying like we were both about to die.
No, not
Okay,
no,
okay,
not
okay, okay.
again,
If I was never gonna see you again, I'd say, Mo, don't ever uh continue to believe in yourself, continue to have a positive outlook, keep reading self-help books, never stop learning.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Boom. How about that?
Great.
Nailed that question.
Yeah, I'm not done. I'm not done with you.
Okay. It gets harder. Go.
It gets harder. Okay. So what would you say to your like young version? Okay, let's say like a teenager. Okay, or when you had the tough times. Let's imagine you meet him. He comes into the room right now. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of life advice would you give to him if you meet your younger self?
I would say, be kind to yourself. Don't always beat yourself up about everything. Not everything is the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say be a lot kinder to women. I'll leave it at that. But just like, be nice to women. I was never mean to women. I don't mean this is coming out all wrong now. But
okay.
Be a bit nicer in your love life, I should say. I would also say, start blogging about poker much earlier, because that was the start of it all.
Thanks for the follow, Arturo Lin. Thanks so much. Welcome to Team Never Give Up.
And I would say buy Bitcoin. There you go.
All right. And what do you think? What would he say to you?
What do you think he would say to me?
Yeah.
He'd probably tell me to fuck off. Yeah.
That's what they all say in my podcast guests. Everyone says that.
Sorry for my language. Excuse me.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, last question before we get into this micro poker thing. Curious about that. So at the end we all die one day, right?
Okay.
So how would you like to be remembered at the end?
Oh man, like if I imagine my funeral, like what I want to happen,
Yeah.
I want it to be like a really serious thing, and I want everyone to be like, oh, this is a very sad occasion, and then I want like one of my best friends to like turn on some like rap music, and it'll just be like, what is this? Like that's so like, what are you doing? You can't. This is a what, And then it'll be like, this is what he wanted. He wanted me to, I'm not sure what song it would be. I'm sure Ava probably has some ideas, like stuff that, something that I listen to a lot now. And everyone would just be like, oh, that was Nick. He was pretty funny sometimes, wasn't he? Like sometimes he was funny,
Okay.
And then that would be the end of me.
All right. Good answer. Guys, that was my last question. Now we get into this poker micro thing stuff, and then we will end the podcast. Okay? Before we start with it, I will be back tomorrow with my tournament challenge. As I said, I will stream that once a week. But most of the time I'm streaming a cash game challenge. I know it's not popular, especially the micros, blah blah blah. But I always say that I always tell them it's not about gaining the most viewers and so on. It's just make sure to surround yourself with the right people. Okay? Do that what you have the most fun with. Okay? And you will be successful with that. So that's my wise words that I can give you for today. Yeah. And if you wanna see some Power Up poker, go and check the next stream out on Tuesday. Check also out the website, the YouTube channel. They have some good strategy stuff out there. Follow them on Instagram. Join the Discords and so on and so on.
Yes, please.
And I would say now we get into the poker micro thing stuff.
If you guys haven't seen it before, that's just the start. You should check it out for yourself.
Yeah. Let me see what the chat said. I missed something here. So many people say that too, Gronsha. Yeah. I want podcast interview with Mo. You mean you want to interview me, Ava? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah. Of course, anytime.
Cool, man.
All right. We are done. We
Cool.
made it. Guys, you made a fantastic job with promoting. I think it was my second biggest podcast that I had. And before you guys, I had big poker streamers and I had less viewers.
Cool,
I'll say
man.
it like
Yeah,
that.
well,
I had bigger poker streamers than you are, and it's the second biggest podcast that I had.
awesome, man. That's great.
Now, my biggest was with the German, because we are in a German community, okay? It's easier to get viewers then, okay? But
Yeah.
other than that, there was like constantly like 20, 18 viewers. That was perfect, man. Really. That was a good funny. I haven't seen this before. Has to be old. That video, okay?
It's so
I'll check
old,
it
yeah.
out.
But if you watch the whole series, it makes more sense as well. But like that was just the first one. That was just the pilot.
All right, that's about it. Join them. Check out their homepage. Check out the stream next Tuesday. Join the Discord as well. Nick, you're streaming next Tuesday. We're looking
I'm
forward to
streaming. I'm
that.
streaming next Tuesday. Yeah, man. I'm really pumped up, and hopefully, so the bankroll is almost $600, so we're already 60% of the way to our goal. Hopefully, I'll play this weekend, and it'll be soft again, and maybe we'll be a little bit closer before I see you guys next time on Tuesday.
Okay, and I'm streaming tomorrow, guys. 7 p.m. Central European time.
Yep.
What James said second biggest that what she said, I wasn't happy then.
James,
What's he mean?
that is not OP approved. Thank you very much. I'm here being the world's greatest politician, and James is there talking trash.
Yeah, but the thing is, the other poker streamers were bigger than you guys. Everyone.
Yeah.
That's crazy, you know?
Yeah, I won't. Not for long though, right? Not for long.
Not
though.
for long, not for long, yeah. That was
No,
a
I'm
good
just
job.
kidding.
That's what I'm saying, basically.
Good,
You are
man.
German?
Good
Yes,
on
I'm German. Ich bin aus Deutschland. Richtig.
Ja, ja, genau, ja, stimmt.
Ja, Nick ist auch aus Deutschland.
So, stimmt, ja.
Okay, guys. Nick,
Ja.
stay in the line for a second, please. And
So.
Ava, I'll text you in Skype in 5 minutes or something. Okay, I'll just check it out here with Nick, and then I'll text you in Skype, Ava. Okay, that's
Yeah.
about it. Thanks so much, guys. That was a hell of a podcast.
Thank you, man.
Thanks so much.
Vielen
It was
Dank.
fun as well.
Vielen Dank.
Choco,
Vielen Dank.
welcome. Vielen Dank.
Vielen
Thanks so
Dank.
much, guys. See you tomorrow and see Nick next Tuesday. Bye bye and
Ciao.
peace.
Thank you guys. Ciao.